What's up everybody, Gomes here, and welcome back. Guys, today is gonna be a good one. As you guys know, we love top fives over here on this channel. You guys love them, I love doing them.
It's all good.
It's like 5 mini deck reviews that we get to compile into one thematic episode. You like that?
Thematic.
Anyway, by popular demand or popular request, whatever you want to call it, today we are going to be going over my top 5 decks by Daniel Madison. I feel like if you're even watching this video, you definitely know who Daniel Madison is, but just in case you don't, here's the overview. Daniel Madison is an extremely talented master of deception. The guy is definitely a talented sleight of hand, like master sleight of hand. He's also very creative with a deck of cards. He's created so many different cool effects. He used to work at Illusionist. He's done the Madisonist thing. You can also find him here on YouTube. He does outstanding magic tutorials. So all around, just a very, very prominent figure in the magic community. Definitely somebody worth talking about. All that and more coming up, but before we get into it, please do drop a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And without further ado, let's roll that intro and get you guys on your way.
Let's go.
Okay, now in general, this list was pretty difficult to make because Daniel Madison has come out with so many decks of cards over the years. He's also done work with other companies, so like there's been Daniel Madison decks that are produced by Illusionist, there's been Daniel Madison decks that are produced by Daniel Madison. So to help me narrow down my list, I really just did the top 5 decks that have been advertised as Daniel Madison decks ever. And of course, this goes without saying, this is my list. I encourage all of you to let me know what your favorite Daniel Madison decks are down in the comments below. But enough about you, let's talk about me. Okay, coming in at number 5 is a deck that I think my very first like top 5 video, I listed this as my favorite deck of cards ever, and that's because when it came out it definitely was, but that is the SWE playing cards. This deck was so special to me. When it came out, I got a brick of them. Just got the green ones, and then I had like one of the black ones that I never opened, and then eventually I just opened it.
Lost it.
Out of the initial brick that I bought, I gave some away, I used a bunch. I was using them in videos a lot, so I was just kind of trashing them. Then they were on sale for like $5 at Illusionist a couple years ago, so I bought another brick, and out of that brick, this is the last one that I have. I just opened it maybe a couple of days ago when I decided to make this video. Definitely one of my favorites. It sucks that you can't find these anymore unless you go on like eBay, and even then it's just not a deck, even though there were so many of them, it's just not a deck that you can like buy in bulk anymore, and that kind of sucks. I like this deck because it is super minimal. It's definitely and obviously reminiscent of Expert at the Card Table by S.W. Erdnase. This deck, like a lot of decks that pay an homage to Erdnase, tribute the book, the color green, the color gold, the acorns. It's just got everything that you would want to see from an Erdnase deck. I love a good Erdnase deck, always have. The Queen of Clubs, that's Laurel London, looking good. Got my boy Adam Wilbur as the Jack of Clubs on this deck. You guys remember that Adam Wilbur beard? I also love that throughout the deck you can find these little references to Erdnase, like the Ace of Spades has some text written from the actual book, Expert at the Card Table. You can see you even get these like Erdnase style jokers with drawings from Expert at the Card Table, except one of them has a reveal in it for the 9 of Clubs. This was a deck that honestly I was super stoked on, and I remain super stoked on. As simple as it is, I love what it represents. The trailer was really cool, just overall great deck. And that is number 5. Okay, coming in at number 4 is a very recent deck from Daniel Madison, and that is the Pink Madison Advocates. I believe these were printed by MPC, believe it or not. They were definitely printed in China, and honestly, these cards feel fantastic. It's basically everything that you would want from a Madison deck. It's minimal, it's got some Daniel Madison branding in it. This most recent logo is Charlie Madison. I really like it, it looks super cool. As well, and especially as of recently, the color pink gives me ultimate Daniel Madison vibes. But also Kier vibes. So just really good deck in general. I've been using this for about a week now, and I still love it. It still feels really good. It's got some court work done by my boy Danielschneider, which we're going to talk about a little bit later in this list. Charlie Madison on the Ace of Spades. Yeah, just in general, like I said, really, really cool deck. We will be taking a closer look at these very, very soon. I have something planned, but for now, just know this is number 4, and for good reason. It's an awesome deck. Okay, coming in at number 3 is a collaboration deck between Daniel Madison and YouTube's favorite magician, Chris Ramsey, and that is the Madison Ramsey Knights playing cards. This one is all beat up. I do have like one more sealed one. I just haven't opened it yet, but this deck is definitely, it's a throwback for a lot of us. A lot of you guys remember when this deck first came out. It was definitely a big deal. The first one that came out were the gold ones, so what the gold ones looked like. So those were the V1s, and then when the red ones came out, these were super hype. Everybody was really stoked on them, including me. Honestly, when I saw the advertisement for this, I saw Madison was doing a trailer for the Red Knights. I got really excited. Obviously had to pick up the deck. These cards are fully marked as well, and you can see the back design is made up of like small, tiny foil individual chess pieces. Really cool stuff. It's a standard-ish deck. It's got some customs done. All of the indices are done in black ink, so even like the hearts, you can see the 7 of hearts, the 7 is black there. But definitely a deck that you could work with if you're a performing magician. You definitely wouldn't have any issues. In fact, it enhances the workability of this deck that the cards are marked. So obviously a deck that you can use for performance, as it was clearly designed that way. These cards feel good. They definitely feel good. The gold ones, the V1s, have been reprinted, so they're still available, but they were reprinted by Cartamundi. So if you don't like Cartamundi stock, or if you don't prefer it anyway, maybe not your kind of deck. The USPCC ones I really like. There's something about them that I love, and I always go back to. You can tell this deck is pretty worn. Let's see if I can get that to focus. It's a pretty worn deck, definitely. I don't use this deck often, but when I do, I use it for a long time. I actually really do love this tuck box, and I think the fact that this one's all beat up makes it look cool. Let me know. Let me know what you guys think. All right, coming in at number 2 is another collaboration deck with Daniel Madison, only this time, instead of Chris Ramsey, it's a collaboration with my boy, Danielschneider. I'm talking, of course, about the Madison-Schneider Remedies, specifically right now, the blue ones. I have reviewed this deck on the channel, so I won't go into all the specifics, but there's so much to love about this deck. My favorite thing about it, absolutely, is this shade of blue. It's the same blue, or very similar blue, from the blue Madison Rounders. It's very deep, it's a royal blue, but it's a little bit brighter, a little bit more vibrant than a royal blue. It looks good. You also get your fantastic Danielschneider court cards. He does the best court work. Like, I don't care who you are. Definitely a familiar looking Ace of Spades. This looks just like the Ace of Spades from the Rounders. It also looks very similar to the shape of the Spade Pip on the Ace of Spades for the Erdnase deck, so I really like that. I'm a huge fan of just giant Spade Pips. I like them a little bit fatter. I like them to be fat like the slow hand Spade Pip, but this, definitely dope. I also love that this deck represents the collaboration of the two brands. Literally, you can see a feather from Charlie Madison and then the Black Rose logo from Black Roses. I think I probably honestly used four of the blue ones and probably like 10 of the red ones. Those two decks are less than a year old, so there you go. All right, but before we get into my number 1 favorite deck by Daniel Madison, I do have some honorable mentions, so let's get into those. Honorable mention number 1 is gonna be the Madison Hellions. Specifically, these are the V3, I believe, the ones that are printed at Cartamundi. If you guys love Daniel Madison, one of his last series that he did at Illusionist, if not his last, was the Confession series, and in that came one of, I think, the best Daniel Madison decks ever made, and that is the Hellions. These are reminiscent of the Gatorbacks on purpose and by design, but they are printed on Cartamundi's retired True Linen B9 finish, and that is, in my opinion, one of the best card stocks ever invented. It's so good. These cards are definitely used up, but you know what? I still use them. This is another one where I have another sealed one. I just haven't brought myself to open it yet, because once I don't have it, I don't have it. But even despite all of the wear and tear, these cards still look really good. They fan really well. Most importantly, they still feel really good. Like, absolutely still a usable deck. So definitely worthy of being an honorable mention. My next honorable mention is the Madison Revolvers. I like the gold ones. I like the red ones, but I don't have them. The gold ones are nice though. The only reason why this wasn't higher on my list is because of the foil backs. I think if it was metallic ink, it was a little bit more low-key, I would have liked them more, but in general, there's nothing I really don't like about the deck. I like the thicker borders. I absolutely love the Madison logo making up the back design. It's super elegant. In general, I probably don't use this deck enough because I do love it so much. And my last honorable mention, something that was so close to being on this list, was the Madison Dealers. These are the red ones, and these are the red ones with borders. So there were borderless versions, which are really cool, and then there were bordered versions, which I like just a little bit more. These are super nice. I like it because it kind of gives you that same vibe as like the mint deck. This came out first, but it's got like that very classy casino aesthetic. It's super consistent, like the Madison branding can be found all throughout the back, all on the box, on the cards. It's just a really nice deck. I love red cards. This is just, ooh, man. All right, so we've gone through a lot of decks, but you guys wanna know the number one. You wanna know my favorite deck of cards by Daniel Madison, and I'm excited to tell you that my number one is the green Madison Rounders. That's right, baby. Woo. Man, I love this deck. So very similar to the other Rounders decks and the Erdnase deck and the Remedies deck, these cards have an air cushion emboss on the box, which I don't think really serves much of a purpose other than looking great, but it does look great. Man, these are so OG. I love them so much. Now, these come in a bunch of colors. They come in black, they come in pink, brown, red. If you're lucky, you can get the red or blue ones. They come in white. I have a bunch of them, but the green ones, these Erdnase green ones, these are just my favorite. Definitely the ones that I use the most. I would say a close second would probably be the brown ones, believe it or not. I like the pink ones, but they felt a little bit too thin. I like the earlier ones that have this more like stiff feel. This deck, of course, is very broken in after being used so much, so it feels fantastic, but I like these cards to be a little bit thicker, and the earlier Rounders were thicker, and I like that. So definitely worthy of being my number one. I think what really does it for me though is that this deck was, for me, this was like the Madison deck. It was kind of like the David Blaine White Lions, you know, like David Blaine's got a bunch of decks, but the White Lions, that's like the David Blaine deck. And I felt like the Rounders, especially at the time that they were coming out, I felt like this was like the Daniel Madison deck. And I never really shook that. It's like in my mind, when I think of Daniel Madison playing cards, I always go back to the Rounders. And for good reason. They're minimal, they look really nice, they have great court customization, but they're still super usable for Magic. I mean, everybody is satisfied with the Rounders deck, and that is definitely why it is my numero uno. Well guys, as always, I turn it back over to you. So let me know what your favorite Daniel Madison playing cards are down in the comments. Daniel, if you're watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it, and we would all be curious to know what your favorite playing cards of yours are in the comments below. So check it out. Got all kinds of good stuff coming up, you guys. Thank you so much for watching these videos. I know that I haven't been doing my normal like 2 and 3 a week, but to be honest, I feel like there are so many cool video ideas that I have, and I would rather work on some more cinematic and more fun videos than just a series of simple deck reviews that follow that same formula. So quality over quantity. That's basically what I'm saying. All right, guys, well, thank you again for watching this video. Don't forget to drop a like if you did like it. Helps me continue to make these videos. Also, consider subscribing for more awesome videos just like this. And with all that being said, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day. I know I will. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Let's go.